Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I have another LEGO Star Wars review for you today. It is the LEGO Smart Play Luke's Landspeeder. Luke's Landspeeder set 75420, ages 6+, with 215 pieces, and we do get 3 minifigures. This is a Smart Play compatible set, so it does not come with the Smart Brick itself, which makes it just a little bit cheaper, but it still is grossly overpriced. That being said, I do believe that this is actually one of the best sets in this line, and we'll get into why. So it includes a Smart Tag and a special Luke Skywalker. Everybody else is going to be pretty normal. So without further ado, let's take a look at the set. Before the set though, we are going to look at the minifigures. And we have the Gonk Droid. This is not a specific Gonk Droid, just Gonk Droid. And I actually think he's really great. He's brick built like all Gonk Droids, but it has been a while since we've gotten an entirely printed tile for a Gonk Droid. Very cool. It doesn't quite top the original Gonk Droids back from the old 90s sets, but this one is pretty close. I just really like the way it's assembled. It's not too big. It does look like it can hold something. The top is light blue, and then, yeah, we have that tile in the front, and it's got some wear. I really like it, and I like that navy. I'm always impressed when LEGO incorporates that color into things like droids. Next up is a Jawa, and again, I'll say I was surprised to see this is a brand new Jawa for this set. I'm sure it will not remain exclusive to this set, but this is the first use of this Jawa in any of the LEGO Star Wars sets. I like seeing a change in the Jawas. It's always fun. And he's got a really cool bandolier and big eyes, pretty generic in terms of he looks like a Jawa. They just change up sort of what gear is on their outfits, but really good overall. Nice to see a new Jawa. That's part of what makes this set so great, in my opinion, other than the price, is you get 2 new minifigures. And then we have our Smart Play Luke Skywalker, and he is nothing special whatsoever. He has a trash can and the words and the Smart Play symbol. Unfortunately, unlike Darth Vader, his is not covered up by a cape, so it's just brandished for all to see that he is an imposter Luke. He's got no detailing on the back other than this indication that he is a Smart Brick character. I understand why LEGO feels the need to do this, but it is sort of annoying. I feel like his legs may be different as well. There's something different maybe printed about his torso. I'd have to double check. So he may be a new Luke Skywalker. Other than that, they may have changed up his printing is what I'm saying. And now, minifigures aside, we are left with the actual build, the bulk of what you're paying for. And that does include Luke's Landspeeder itself, as well as a Jawa hut, shack, Jawa house, Jawa repair shop. I am not 100% sure. Another small accessory that we get is this little box with a blue milk. I believe this is the same blue milk that we saw in the what's it called? Cobb Vance Speeder set earlier, which again was a surprise to get printed blue milk, but there we are. It looks really good. I'm glad that they're using this piece in multiple sets, though it seems a little odd that they included it. I guess it's just to go in the back if you don't have the Smart Brick plugged in, because it does look a little empty. So moving on to the Landspeeder itself, and I actually think that it has some really good elements. It does seem smaller than other Landspeeders that we've gotten. I'd have to make a direct comparison to say for sure. That's just by my own eyes. There's a spot for Luke's lightsaber, which is convenient, and they've got rid of the tubes. I think they've done that now for a little while, but I always think about it. It is not as good and clean as the most recent or the recent past edition of this Landspeeder. But what's really notable is this windscreen. I do think that it is the most accurate windscreen, or most Landspeeder-like windscreen that we've seen. I also like the way that the chairs are done. That is unique. And you can see the brick sits right in there. We have some paddles so that we get some action of it like moving through traffic. And then these are the engines with little printed pieces in the front. Those look okay, but the engines themselves I'm just not super impressed by. Not really sure why they have holes and why these have those studs, but nonetheless, it is okay. Since we only get Luke, though, the other passenger seat is empty and there is no specific steering wheel, though I really like this dome for the Landspeeder. I feel like that's maybe accurate. I don't know. It looks so good to me for some reason. It may be totally off. I don't know. Anyways, so plugging in the Smart Brick here. There we go. And we'll just plug it on top of the tile. So now it's doing its flashing thing. If you'd like a lowdown of the Smart Brick, I reviewed it a little bit more extensively in the Darth Vader TIE Fighter review, so we're just going to go on like we have the knowledge already about the Smart Brick. It blinks when it's in, and here's Luke. So that's fine. It just is kind of disappointing that it cuts off right before that really nice section. There's Luke talking. And so you can... I do feel like this one sounds just a touch better. It still is very garbled, very like it's running out of batteries or like it's, you know, tech from the 90s, but I can kind of get the whooshing a little better. And then if you do this, obviously it doesn't have lasers, but... So it's kind of got a horn and some talking like he's driving through traffic. That's about it. And then it does stop when you land him, so that's nice. And then we have the Jawa hut, which I'll show you. And I actually think that this is a really cool piece of the set. I really like the build for this little hut. It could match in with like your Tatooine sets that you have. And I think it's really cute. There's even a little stove and cup and fork, so it makes me think that the Jawa maybe lives here, and this is like maybe his like fueling station or something. And so just like with the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, we have the red paddles that indicate that the item is moving. Blue is for fuel or charging, whatever. And if you put it in front of this little light section, it'll make filling sounds. And Luke will say thanks in his weird Simish sounding voice. And then we have a little green tool to help fix. There we are. So the colors stand out in the world of Star Wars. It's like very evident that those are not natural colors for this theme. But that aside, and the fact that, you know, the Smart Brick thing is just not up most people's alleys that are, you know, getting these sets, unless it's for your kids, I guess. This is one of the better sets to me. I like the Landspeeder, even though it's not as good of a version, like for what it is, I think it's decent. It's got some really good added elements that I think really propel it. Otherwise, it's a pretty mediocre build. But I wanted it because I've got all of Luke's Landspeeders, so I just wanted to kind of keep up with that. And just to show you what like a compatible set looks like, this was the cheapest option. And then I really like the little Jawa house. I think it's cute and creative. The fact that you get a Jawa and a Gonk Droid, and both of those figures are brand new. And then the printed blue milk. I just found myself, as I was building this, rather impressed with actually what you get. If it had a better price point, I think that this would have been a really good set overall, actually. And so, I mean, call it controversial, but that's really how I feel. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.